Us now from Beijing. And Katrina, this Congress is all about setting the direction for the year. What priorities have been underlined over the past week?
Well, I'm standing here in Tiananmen Square. Behind me is a great hall of the people. And inside that building, 3,000 Chinese Communist Party officials from all over the country are voting on changes to China's laws that will set the pace and the direction for this coming year. And there really are two focuses that have been really emphasized. The first is boosting confidence in China's flagging economy. Now, Chinese leaders, they set a really positive tone, or they tried to, by setting quite an ambitious growth target of 5% GDP for 2024. They also acknowledges some really deeply entrenched problems dragging down growth, or as a result of growth, rising unemployment among them, as well as a crisis in the housing sector. An official actually said that some of these real estate giants that are suffering should be allowed to collapse in order for China to reform its growth model. And really, the biggest solution put forward for China's flagging economy was a push for more innovation and for China to move up the supply chain when it comes to manufacturing. That is really one of the major messages that we've heard from Xi Jinping. Another emphasis has been on national security. One of the laws that they are voting on behind me is the organic law regarding the State Council. Now, that sounds quite complicated, but essentially what they are moving to do is emphasize the power of the Communist Party with Xi Jinping on top as being the power that controls the entire government. So really, it's a move to get the government and the entire country to fall further in line behind President Xi Jinping. And while his power is tightening and strengthening, the power of China's number two, Premier Li Qiang, seems to be diminishing. We normally have at the end of the National People's Congress a major press conference chaired by the Premier of China, and that has been axed for the first time since 1988 this year.
There's also continuing tensions with the United States, as well as the wars in Gaza and Ukraine. There's also a major factor in the leadership decisions. In what way?
Well, we've had a flurry of meetings with officials on everything from the economy to unemployment, as I said. And really, the underlying message of all of these meetings has been a call for more self-reliance for China to become more independent, less reliant on foreign markets, including the United States, which was formerly China's biggest trading partner. And we have these simmering tensions with Washington continuing. We have a barrage of trade restrictions, technology restrictions that Washington continues to pursue against Beijing. Indeed, Wang Yi, China's foreign minister, last week accused Washington of being obsessed with China's suppression. So that is definitely one of these drivers behind Xi Jinping's increasing calls for more self-reliance. And of course, we have this increasingly uncertain geopolitical environment. We have the war in Gaza, we have the war in Ukraine, and all of these factors are pushing China to rethink ways it can maintain its growth and maintain its power on the world stage.
OK, thank you so much, Katrina. Katrina, you there for us in Beijing. Xie Gong is an assistant professor in the China program at Nanyang Technological University's School of International Studies. She joins us now from Singapore. Thank you very much for being here on Al Jazeera. First of all, we heard Katrina there say that the National People's Congress is usually capped off by the Premier's press conference at the end. But this year, that tradition has been mysteriously axed. What do you think of that? What is that a sign of?
All right, I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, there's normally a press conference at the end of the week. That is not happening this time. What do you make of that?
Yeah. Oh, sure. That came really like a surprise to all of us, to the audience. But under Xi Jinping's rule, I think he changed a lot of norms within the party, within the government. So somehow it was not a surprise, but definitely sent a signal that China is going to be more and more, inward-looking, because it doesn't want to convey the messages that people want to hear after all the annual report. And the second message, I think, is that Xi's power cannot be challenged, and he is the one who will make the final sayings.
There was also a statement about Taiwan, not talking about peaceful unification anymore. I know everyone sits up and takes notice whenever China says anything about Taiwan. Is China taking a stronger tone here?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Taiwan issue has been the priority for a decade. Clearly, for the past few years, the two sessions, even under the late Premier Li Keqiang, the peaceful unification actually was removed. So it clearly sent a signal that Beijing has hardened its rhetoric, towards Taiwan. So it's not a really big surprise. But what will be astonishing to the world is that, first of all, if you look at the budget data, it's set 7.2%, which is higher than the GDP set at 5%, right? And we can interpret that as China does not want to talk too much about the rhetorics, but to take more actions. Especially, it doesn't want to talk about, like peaceful reunification before the new government on the DPP, which is going to take place this May.
You said that they could take more actions. What exactly do you mean by that? What sort of action?
These actions are more internal in terms of, how to modernize the military and how to more efficiently use the military budget, and then how to boost up the morale and confidence of the Chinese citizens in terms of finishing these national unification policies. And at the two sessions, we've known that the defense education law has been reinforced again. So this is part of this all, that kind of actions to show to the world that China is really serious about the reunification.
There was also a focus on Southeast Asia. How significant is that?
Well, if you read the words between lines, from the annual work report by Premier Li, right? I think the Chinese government is giving increasing political weight to the region for two instances. One is that the Premier highlighted this bilateral China-ASEAN Free Trade Area 3.0. It's an upgraded version of bilateral trade agreement, which now is focusing more on the digital and green energy investment, and also speak a lot on value-added supply chain that China can offer. And the second one is the infrastructure project, which is also like a connectivity project. It's called the New Western Land Sea Corridor. It is planned to deepen the connections between China, Europe, Central Asia on the one side, and Southeast Asia on the other side. So China will double down investments definitely in terms of playing its economic charm offensive as well to Southeast Asia. And second, Southeast Asia, ASEAN as a region is already the largest trading partner of China, not the United States. So we will definitely see more and more economic engagement between China and Southeast Asia.
Okay, thank you. We'll have to leave it there, but we really do appreciate your time. That is Xie Gong for us there.
Thank you.